Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. Book of Deuteronomy, 6 verses 5-7.
A lot of people think teaching your children about God only means taking them to church or quoting scripture at them sometimes. But Deuteronomy 6 paints a much deeper picture than that. It shows God being part of everyday life inside the home. A mother may be working long shifts, barely sleeping, trying to survive financially, dealing with stress, raising children, and still choosing to teach. Pray when you're scared. Don't lie just because it benefits you, she tells her children. God still matters even when life feels unfair. Not just during church services, but while cooking, cleaning, driving, apologizing, surviving, and trying to hold life together. That is Deuteronomy 6 in real time. It is choosing God privately too, not only publicly. A man may realize certain music, entertainment, conversations, or habits feed lust, pride, anger, depression, or chaos in his spirit. So he slowly begins replacing those things with worship, prayer, scripture, and things that keep his heart cleaner before God. Not because he is pretending to be perfect, not because he wants attention, but because he understands what I feel daily comes from what I feed myself daily. It eventually shapes my heart. That is loving God with your heart, soul, and strength in practical form. And children learn that more from observation than lectures. A child can watch two adults go through the same disrespect. One explodes with screaming and cussing, threatening and humiliation. The other is hurt too, but still pauses and say, I'm angry, but I don't want evil to control me. That child just learned something deeper than a sermon. Show your children what walking with God looks like in the ordinary moments. Deuteronomy 6 is not just only teaching verses. Moments of stress, money problems, betrayal, fatigue, temptation, in traffic, disappointment, and conflict. At the same time, presents all what parents have to humble themselves and remember sometimes something important. We cannot control everything our children will see, hear, or experience, or be exposed to in this world. There will be environments outside of our reach, conversations we cannot monitor, influences we cannot fully stop. And that reality can feel heavy, but our responsibility is not to become gods over our children. Our responsibility is to diligently point them toward the true God while they are in our care. We teach them, we correct them, pray with them, guide them, plant truth in them consistently. But ultimate protection does not come from our fear, control, anxiety, or surveillance. True protection comes from God. Because in reality, we cannot even protect ourselves outside of him. We cannot see every danger, fight every spiritual battle, or control every outcome. Sometimes the greatest lesson a child can witness is not a perfect parent, but a praying parent. A parent willing to say, Lord, I need you too. Some parents choose their own way, and later in life, they clearly see the fruit of those choices once their children become adults. I remember my mother saying to me, 35 and 6 kids later, you actually want to wait on a husband? And my answer was, well, yes. Because I was never taught to wait on a husband. I was never taught to value myself or the value of being covered, cherished, or chosen as a wife. Nobody told me to guard myself for marriage. And nobody was appointing me someone worth waiting for. And nobody told me God had somebody for me. So it is interesting how some parents choose not to lead their children in the way of God and refuse accountability for certain outcomes. They will still try to shame you once God actually gets a hold of your life and starts changing your mind. But I told my mother this: if I could have children for a man who never desired me as a wife, then surely I can have children for a man who honors me properly, loves me correctly, and makes me feel amazing and make me an honest woman before God. It is never too late for what God has for you. People act like redemption has an expiration date, like healing has an age limit, like purity of heart cannot begin later in life. But God is still able to restore, rebuild, renew, and rewrite. And sometimes the very people who laugh at your transformation are people who never expected you to surrender to God in the first place.